Welcome to my case study video. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you what performance from pure dedication looks like. So this is an ad account where we spent $465,000. We made back $1.7 million at a 3.81 ROAS, or that's return on ad spend. So basically a 381% ROI on our advertising dollars. In this example, in just 11 days, on TikTok Shop, we spent $1,100. We made back $19.7 thousand. That's a 16.82 ROAS, or basically a 1,682% return on what we spent. Here's a Google ad account where we spent $92,500 and we returned back $667,000. Well over $500,000 on just not even $100,000 spent. That put us at a 7.21 ROAS. Now, Google calls it conversion value per cost, but it's the same thing. So now I'm going to show you an example of a client's account in a live dashboard right now. Okay, so we're inside of a client's account right now, and you can see here, this is in the last 30 days. In the last 30 days, we spent a grand total of $31,000 on ads. Nothing super remarkable or anything, but off that $31,000, we made top line revenue of $260,000. So we spent $31,000 on just these two platforms and brought back over $250,000. Now, I'll give a brief story behind this client. This is actually for me right now a new client. And this is an example of what happens when you got an advertiser who actually understands advertising very well. And so the previous advertiser, what they were doing is it looked like their numbers were performing super well, and all their tracking, they had landing page views counting as purchases, which is absolutely, I had never seen that before. And so taking over this account, we could be spending a lot more, but we actually had to take a step back to go forward. We had to fix their tracking, make sure everything is properly coordinated, redo some of the messaging, and then now we're starting to scale. And so we spent $31,000 to make over $250,000. And then out of that $260,000, $229,000 of that was net profit. And we've been at an 8.34 ROAS over 30 days, right? Google, that was a 10.13 ROAS, and Meta, that was a 3.37 ROAS, which is highly, highly profitable for this client. This client gets recurring, like people pay a monthly subscription. So we're profitable out of the gate for this client already. And then just whenever someone renews on their second or third or second month, it's just pure profit from there. And they don't have to repay for that customer again. Now let's go look at another example. In this account, I had to make this a lot bigger so you can see it. So it's a little blurry, but you can see here that in this account, this was for YouTube ads. We spent $3 million in this account on YouTube ads. This is just one client. And actually for the same client, they actually had a second ad account where we had spent over $2 million. So $5 million for this one client. This is actually a global brand that that you would likely recognize. So here's what's happening in 99% of ad accounts right now. Budgets are hemorrhaging on testing. Campaigns that work one week, they just completely crater and crash the next week. And you have media buyers or advertisers who just disappear when performance drops. It's like, hey, why is performance tanking? Silence, right? Leaving you holding the bag. Worse, you've been fed lies like a 2 to 3x ROAS is good performance. Now, that could be good performance if like your margins are super high, right? Like coaching, you're a coach or you have a course or something like that. But for most companies and most brands, that's not the case. They have cost of goods sold, they have overhead, they have shipping fees and all this stuff. And so when you get down to the numbers of 2 to 3 ROAS, for most brands that are selling physical products, it just doesn't cut it. If you're in SaaS, or, again, you're selling an online course or you have a subscription offer, this is actually generally pretty good. But other than that, this isn't necessarily good performance, even though people just tout it around like it's just God's truth to man. And so another lie is that inconsistency is a part of the game, which is just crazy. And this is the worst lie. I hate this lie, that scaling kills profitability. And I'm actually going to show you an example here, another case study example here in a second, where you can see over time how we scaled and how our profitability actually went up. So it's just all lies. It's just ridiculous. Now, my name is Zechariah. And over the past 6 years, I've managed and spent over $16 million in advertising, and some of that being my own money across Meta, TikTok, Google, YouTube, and Twitter ads. Most media buyers, they're just technicians. They know how to push buttons and read dashboards. I'm a media strategist. It's a big, big difference. While they're split testing audiences like it's still 2017, even though even though the algorithms changed a lot since then, I'm writing winning copy and ad scripts that convert the campaigns that I set up and manage. While they're performing or while they're optimizing for vanity metrics, I'm reverse engineering customer lifetime value into acquisition funnels. Now, I'm not going to get into funnels on this, but this is actually a service I recently started providing for my clients. I have a small team where we build out sales funnels so that they can take their physical products or their online products or whatever it is and scale it profitably, right? They could take the best of what they sell and offer and just scale it to the moon, like with higher conversion rates. It's insane. So here's that example I was telling you about where you're going to see us scale, and the more we scale, the more profitable we become. So this is Free the Roots. And you can see that in this phase one of me taking over their ad account, we spent $5,500. We made $24,000 back at a 4.36 ROAS. So we're already off to a great start. This is extremely profitable for them. And then look, we 5x our budget. So we go from $5,500 to about $25,000. And guess what? We go from a 4.36 ROAS to a 5.03 ROAS. So you can clearly see the whole lie that scaling kills profitability. It's a lie. And then we go from spending 25 grand to spending 84 grand, making $500,000 back just about at a 5.5 ROAS. So we went up even further. And then we spent $363,000 to make $1.3 million at a 3.74. Now you may go, whoa, didn't you say it's supposed to go up more you scale? There is a point at which they have a very niche audience. So there is a point at which your brand, and this is the case for any company, any brand, where the game changes, where you go from like profitability growth to market dominance growth. So like level one is profitability growth, where you have not even come close to reaching maxing out your audience, and you need to be scaling in a way that makes you more money, makes you more profitable. So you can build an infrastructure that allows you to support the market dominance growth phase. And at the market dominance growth phase, you're starting to eat up a larger share and portion of the market, meaning your velocity and your volume of new clients comes smaller, and therefore that new client velocity slows down, right? Because more people know about you. So you're acquiring less new customers, and you're doing more back-end work to keep customers returning, right? And then in this next example, you can see, in the previous example, we spent $363,000 to make 1.3, and then we spent $465,000 to make $1.7 million at a 3.81 ROAS. We actually went up a little bit from a 3.74 to a 3.81. Okay, just because of identifying some nuanced opportunities within our marketing that we could improve upon. So this isn't luck, and this is not having a good ad account or anything like that. This is methodology. This is strategic, sheer methodology. I don't just manage campaigns. That's what a lot of media buyers do. They just manage, push buttons, and expect to get paid at the next month, right? I built profit architectures. Every dollar you invest when I'm running your ads becomes a research investment in your next dollar's performance. Now, you might be thinking, well, these results sound a little bit too good to be true, or my business is different, or look, man, I've been burned too many times before. And that's fair. So I will address that, because you may be thinking that. First, every screenshot, every metric, every result I show you is verifiable. I don't inflate numbers because I don't need to. I literally can't. That's just what the ad dashboards are reporting. And so when you're managing up to $45,000 a day on ads, which I've done for just one client, The results speak louder than any sales pitch ever could. Second, your business is not different, not like you may think it is. Physics are physics. Consumer psychology is consumer psychology. So whether you're selling supplements, SaaS, coaching, or industrial equipment, the principles that turn advertising into a profit remain constant. And it's the reason why advertising still works. It worked 100 years ago, or worked in way different formats 1,000 years ago if you study history, and it still works today. And that's because people don't change. Largely speaking, cultures change and shift, but there are key fundamental things inside of us as human beings that just trigger us to want to become a customer and to buy a new belief or new opportunity. Third, you have been burned before. This is the number one thing I hear from any of my 80 to 90% of my clients. They've been burned before. And that's because you get these media buyers. They're just order takers. They're not profit partners. They don't really care. They're just optimizing for their convenience and their wallet and not your bank account. So if you're interested, here's what happens next. If you're serious about transforming your advertising from an expense into your most profitable growth channel, send me a message with these 3 things, okay? Number 1, your current monthly ad spend. 2, your target customer cost per acquisition. Your target cost per acquisition. And then 3, the biggest challenge that you're facing with your current approach right now. Now, obviously, I also would like a link to your business and everything like that, some basic details on business. But aside from that, I need these 3 things. Now, I'll then review your situation and tell you exactly whether we're a fit or not. And if we're not, then I'll point you to someone who is, or to resources that I think will be helpful to you. But understand this is very important to understand. I only work with businesses who are ready to scale intelligently. So if you're looking for someone who's just, you want someone to just try some things and see what happens, throw some mud at the wall and see if it sticks, I'm not your guy. That is not the game I'm playing, right? And so my final question to you, as you think about whether you want to reach out to me or not, is do you want to keep paying for lessons? That's what you're going to get with most media buyers. You're going to keep paying for lessons. Or do you want to start collecting profits? So message me now, because your competition is already scaling while you're thinking about it. All right. So I look forward to hearing from you soon. Bye-bye.